How about before we jump in to a whole bunch of words and then some practice together, why don't we just pause as we begin to come together, invoking a sacred pause. And so, whatever that means for you, maybe taking a deep breath, maybe closing your eyes or just averting your gaze from the screen, or maybe tuning into the friendly faces on the screen, tuning into the heart. Somehow taking a moment just to connect inward. Tuning in to this body, however it is right now. This heart, just as it is. And this mind, too, in whatever state it's showing up right now. And seeing how it is to just roll out a welcome mat to all of yourself right now. To arrive fully with all of your parts, all of the resonances of the day's activity, all the different ways that you are you, letting them just settle in and begin to arrive. And perhaps inviting in a deeper breath if that feels right, or a mindful breath, however deep. Receiving the inhale, releasing the exhale. If your eyes are closed, maybe floating them open, just taking in your space, taking any movements in the body that might feel good. And when it feels right, turning your attention to the screen with all these sweet faces. Queer sangha. Welcome. Yeah, just wanting to really offer a heartfelt welcome to each of you, and gratitude for welcoming me to join you tonight. And wanting to also just invite in a moment of appreciation for the lineage that I practice in, the insight lineage, which might be your lineage too, or one of your lineages, the Theravadan tradition of Buddhism that comes to us by way of Sri Lanka and Thailand, Burma, Laos, and Cambodia, and also Western Massachusetts and Northern California, and way up north in Canada, at True North Insight. And then also just to name that I'm coming to you from Brooklyn, New York, the land of the Lenape people. I'm feeling the holding of the land through that long lineage of stewardship and all of the more than human stewards of the land that are tending and caring for this place, this space. So yeah, welcome, deep, deep and broad and wide and heartfelt welcome. And I want to just take a moment to check in and invite your voices into the space by way of the chat, just so that just because of time. But I'll invite you to, yeah, just see what feels right to you. You can drop your name into the chat if you want, and maybe where you are, and then tuning into the body, noticing what sensation might be present for you right now, maybe what emotion might be moving through, or something that just feels like it would help you be more fully present in the space. To tell us about how you're doing today. And drop that into the chat so we can see a little bit of what's in the room with us. Feeling way better after eating dinner, a bit buzzy, some tech issues. Feeling relaxed, a bit hot. Yes, yeah, y'all are feeling the heat wave too, right? I hope everyone is taking good care. I see some folks are cuddled up with a fleece blanket, so that tells me you're doing okay indoors right now. Thank you, electricity and air conditioning. Maybe as we wait for folks to check in or give space for folks to check in, I'll just orient us a little bit to how I want to hold the evening tonight and see how it sounds to you. I was thinking of offering some reflections and to reflect a little bit on the four elements, and the four elements as a refuge, and how that practice could, yeah, it can be a refuge for us in practice and in life, and then to guide us in a meditation, and then just to close together with a like group harvest, a little bit of a share for what's arising in practice. How does that sound? Does that sound good to folks? Cool. Seeing there's some tightness in the throat, gratitude to be here. Nervous system a little lit up, but happy to be here. Feeling like you can't keep up with the garden, so much growth. Feeling relaxed, but full of questions about who I am and how to be better. Yeah, sweet. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. A mix of feeling the heat, feeling a lot of like, yeah, body, feeling relaxed, feeling nourished, feeling the heat, feeling nervous system activation, tired and a bit achy. Ooh, stone-like. Ooh, as you cool off. Very cool, Lindsay. That feels like a great kind of transition to sharing some reflections about the elements. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the four elements, this practice of tuning into the elemental nature of the body that the Buddha shared with us in the Satipatthana Sutta and the four foundations of mindfulness. It's part of the first foundation where the Buddha shares all these different ways of contemplating the body, noticing the postures of the body, noticing movements of the body and activity, noticing breathing and the sensations of the breath, and noticing the elemental qualities of the body too, among some other aspects as well, like the nature of the body to die. The Buddha talks a lot about the different body parts, and death contemplations also included in that first foundation of mindfulness. And of all of those ways of sensing into the body and contemplating the body, I want to just pick out tonight this practice of the four elements. So as I said, I live in Brooklyn. I'm in New York City, and I bike around here a lot. And I tend to find nature to be pretty grounding, like being among trees and being among like bird song. Is that true for any of you too? The feeling of like being around plants really grounds this nervous system, but it can feel really far away when I'm in the middle of like downtown Brooklyn, biking from school to school, feeling the heat of the cars and the exhaust and hearing sirens. And this practice of tuning into the four elements, I have found to be a way of connecting to nature, and the nature that is always alive and present in this physical body, this physical being. And it's a way too of connecting, feeling a sense of connection to the wider world in a time where I often experience a sense of like disconnect sometimes from fellow people, from fellow New Yorkers. So yeah. So the Buddha says in the Satipatthana, invites the practitioners, one reviews this body, however it is placed, however disposed, as consisting of elements thus. In this body, there are the earth element, the water element, the fire element, and the air element. And then in the refrain of the sutta, the Buddha invites us to contemplate these qualities. We can contemplate them internally, and we can contemplate them externally, and then internally and externally. So kind of tuning in to the relationship between the internal and the external, or where the internal and external meet. And it can feel a little bit like a metaphor, and that's a way of holding this too, of holding the elements, kind of receiving them as a contemplation or as a metaphor for experience, to contemplate the elemental nature. But when we call this contemplation into our practice and into a felt sense of these qualities in the body, then it can become alive, and it can become an avenue for really feeling into the truth of like the Dhamma, the truth of the imperfect, impermanent, and impersonal nature of this body and of experience. That's Ruth King. She phrases the three characteristics that way, as imperfect, impersonal, and impermanent. And the contemporary nun Aya Khema says that our individual composition is the same as the composition of the rest of the universe. So there's also this way, right, where we tune in to the earth, to the solidity, the density, the weight of these bodies, and we can sense in to the earth on a planetary level, even that the earth element is in everything. It's in the chair that you're sitting in, the couch you're leaning against. It's in the pictures on the wall behind you. It's in the plants. It's in the floor beneath you. It's in the screen of the laptop or computer that you're looking at. In this earth element, we can sense it within and we can sense it externally, perceiving this material world. And the wind element is this element of motion, right? Air, always moving. And we can tune in as the breath rises and changes and releases, the flowing of air as the body breathes. Or perhaps as other movement within the body, the pulsing of blood, the movement internally of the heart or of organs functioning within the body. And externally, we can perceive it in the wind, in the contact of air on the surface of our skin. If you have some fans going or the AC going right now, there might be some circulation in the air in the room where you are, and you can notice the contact, the air element on the skin, that movement. And then fire. This element feels really alive right now. The heat moving through, right? And there's the fire externally of the sun, the power of our star, the sun. And then the fire of temperature within the body, maybe noticing heat in the body, maybe noticing coolness, and that there are different temperatures in different parts of the body and that they're changing all the time too. And the fire element can really call us in to notice impermanence, notice the changing nature of heat and of coolness. And then the water element is also an element that has some movement in it. There's this flow of liquid, fluid, right? And we can perceive it in the kind of flowing sense, any sensations in the body, perhaps the pulse of blood through the body, or maybe in places where there's moisture that you can perceive in the mouth and the eyes or on the eyeballs, maybe sweat on the outside of the body now. And as we sense into these qualities, right, there's a way that we can tune in to this truth of the impersonal and the impermanent nature and the imperfect nature. This opens up the body from not just being me and mine and who I am, but the body as being of this biosphere, of the natural worlds, right here in the middle of the city, right here on your couch. This is nature unfolding, heavy and weighted here on the earth, held by the earth's gravity to the surface. Like a mountain settled here. And so we can tune into this nature unfolding moment by moment and see how it feels. See if it can offer some expansive awareness. Again, this is Ayakema. Ayakema says, with practice, one day we will recognize that all phenomena are composed of and dependent upon the interaction and merging of these four elements. And we'll realize that all of it, the entire universe, is just one continuous manifestation, and that we ourselves are no different. And so this calling into relationship with our earthly nature, our fiery nature, our watery nature, our windy nature, speaks to me of a kind of refuge, a refuge beyond all of my own worries and concerns, a refuge beyond the personal, in the way that things can feel so fixed, feels so solid and feels so heavily like placed on my shoulders. And so I'll invite us into a meditation now. You can see how this feels for you to tune in to the body in this way. I can invite you to find a posture that feels supportive, maybe inviting in some extra ease. If there's been, yeah, if some support would feel good, maybe inviting in some extra wakeful energy, finding a little more uprightness, seeing what feels right for you, and letting the body settle into some stillness. Lowering the gaze or closing your eyes, beginning to draw attention inward. Maybe before even directing attention or doing anything, just noticing what's present in awareness now. And then noticing if there's a kind of elemental quality. Maybe it's really clear because you're really hot and sweaty like I am. And there's a lot of fire present. Maybe there's some thinking, and you can notice if it has an elemental quality to it. The thoughts feeling fiery or light, lighty, moving around like air, flowing like water. And then I'll invite you to just notice the body sitting here. Offering a kind of warm, curious attention to the body at rest. And then tuning into the places where the body is touching the earth. In contact with the earth below, maybe your seat, maybe your back, soles of the feet. Sensing into the contact, if there's any hardness, perhaps from the surface below, the floor beneath the feet, your seat, or any sense of pressure. And just grounding a bit, inviting the body to ground, inviting the mind to settle. The sense into the earth element, the earthliness of this body. Maybe holding the whole body in awareness, maybe narrowing attention to just the soles of the feet or just the seat, or maybe the hands resting in your lap. Or maybe sensing more internally any hardness within the body, noticing bones, noticing the uprightness of the body, noticing the heaviness of it, the solidity. And we can sense into the internal earth element within. And we can also sense into it externally, inviting our imagination a bit to support, sensing into the earth beneath you, the wide expanse of this planet, solidly supporting you, receiving you. And then again, noticing where these two meet, the internal earth body, the external earth body, and those points of contact. Shifting attention from the earth element to the wind element. Noticing this body breathing, the flow of air. Rising and falling within the body with each breath. wind, air element internally. The body breathing all on its own. Air flowing in and out, just like air flowing across the surface of the skin. Knowing the wind element externally and the subtle movement of air through the space where you are. Air element internally, air element externally. Seeing how the air flows with each breath. It's not me, it's not mine, just wind rising and falling. And shifting attention to the water element. Maybe noticing moisture in the body, fluidity in the body internally. Water in the saliva, in the mouth, and the movement of blood pulsing through the body. Any sense of fluidity. In the body. Any sense of cohesion, all these body parts held together by this element that binds water holds together. When you add water to flour and make dough. Noticing water elements externally, maybe moisture on the skin as the body sweats. Or any sense of fluidity externally. And shifting attention, noticing the fire element. Noticing heat, coolness, temperature, the whole range of temperature within the body. Noticing if, as you sense into the fire element internally, what happens? What happens when you meet heat or coolness with awareness? Noticing change unfolding. If there's shifting, changing in where you perceive warmth or cold within or externally on the skin, maybe as air waves move through your space, sensations of heat rising, changing, passing away, sensations of coolness in different parts of the skin. Sensing into the fire element internally, fire element externally. for the next few minutes, we'll sit together in silence and you can play around or explore any of these elements that felt particularly resonant. And just connect with one that felt grounding or alive, or explore all of them, or do whatever feels most supportive for your practice. As we come into the final minutes of this meditation, just allowing any contemplation of the elements to settle and just taking in the body, the heart, and the mind, noticing how it is right now. Maybe with the eyes still closed before opening them to see again. And Kalyanamita in the Zoom room, the faces of sangha, dear friends on the path, just sensing in to the other earth bodies, breathing, practicing together. Be inviting a feeling of being held. In sangha, and sangha being held by the larger sangha of the earth, more than human. Inviting in a deeper breath or two. And taking any movements the body is calling for. Opening your eyes, taking in the space where you are. And turning attention back to the screen. And there's a little bit of time to just share about practice, what's alive in your practice tonight or beyond tonight.